All right. So, that's for syncing the audio. I mean, you know, right?
I love this. Let's do this, Buzz.
All right. I'm going to play the tune first and then we'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all professional.
This is my first professional interview, I think.
Did you ever do a podcast?
No, this is my first time.
Yeah?
I waited for you, man.
Yeah. Well, the intro is now playing and it's just to get a little bit of a vibe.
I've heard your thing, one of your podcasts.
You obviously listen to the podcast, right?
Yeah, and I've subscribed to you, man. I'm like your number one. Like, you know, every time I get my email, I'm like, let's check you out.
I'm gonna fact check you. In a moment.
Shit. Like, no, I'm joking. You can. You actually can.
Okay.
Actually can.
I think the intro song has finished. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
My dear Tinotenda.
We are here. It's so weird not shooting, by the way. This is a difference.
Just for all the listeners, normally I'm doing the podcast in Dutch. But now, obviously, we're doing it in English.
Yes.
So we are reaching a bigger audience now. And for you, English is...
my first, one of my first languages.
One of your first languages. Yeah. And the thing is, if I invite a photographer here...
Yeah.
And it's not his first language. I don't know how the conversation will go.
And it will sound horrible.
English is not a problem.
Yeah.
But I can't.
You don't want people to sound stupid.
With you, I know this is gonna work. So we're gonna do this in English.
Let's do this.
It's been a while since we first met.
Yeah.
5 years ago. More than 5 years ago.
More than 5 years ago, I think now. Yeah.
And since then, we did a lot of shoots. And
we can always do more.
Since I've started the podcast, I always knew like one day we're gonna have to talk about this.
I think when you told me that you were wanting to do this podcast, you were like, yeah, I'm thinking of doing this podcast. And then I was sitting there thinking, okay, cool. And you go, but I have to interview you too. I'm like, yay, okay, I'm just waiting for you to invite me. Because if you hadn't invited me, I would have invited myself.
Yeah, sure.
I just so that you know. Just so you know. Like.
No, but you know, it's fun because I think it was a few months ago. I was having an exhibition.
Yes.
And we were standing and looking at the work. And then we just said to each other like, this is 5 years.
Yeah.
This is 5 years of work.
Working together, yeah.
And so it's quite of an anniversary, actually.
It is. It really is. And I think you're my longest working like relationship, like in modeling. I think you're and my favorite, obviously. Because
at the moment we started working together, you started modeling, or did you before?
Okay, so I started modeling as a child in Zimbabwe. So like my mommy, I think I've been modeling, since I was like 2-3 years old.
Really?
Like really. And I used to do more commercials with her.
For what kind of stuff?
I remember my favorite shoot that I can remember. I think I was 6 or 7. And it was at for a hotel brochure. And I just remember that I had a big milkshake, a strawberry milkshake that I had to like in my swimming costume. I had to sit by the pool with this milkshake and then I had to take pictures. The only thing I remember was that I was allowed to drink the milkshake afterwards.
Yeah.
So I was very, very happy about that. I was like, mommy, I wasn't even concerned about the pictures. I just kept looking at the milkshake. Can I drink it yet? Can I drink it yet? So that was fun. I mean, I did a lot of like brochures and commercials for, I did an ad for a supermarket in Zimbabwe. Most of the things I did with my mom. Even did a few voiceovers at a young age. So that was really fun. Like
also for commercials, like but it was all for Zimbabwe.
All for Zimbabwe. Everything was in Zimbabwe.
Let's take it a step back.
Yes.
Because I asked you like the modeling part, but now we're in Zimbabwe. How did you come to Holland? I mean, what's your story?
Okay, so
you've been born in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, 1989, December 28th, just to be exact. 10 o'clock.
I need to write that
10:20.
down.
10:20. I'm going to test you later. No. And then we moved. Funny thing is, 2 of my aunts were married to Dutchmen. So I have had Dutch. I've got like Dutch uncles in my family. So Holland or Dutch itself wasn't that weird to me. And then one of my aunts introduced my mom to her husband's colleague. And I think, even weird. I met him first. That was the weird thing. I met him first and he was very, like, we hit it off. Like, I was kind of a mature child. So I used to talk to grown-ups and think that I was their age and still have that problem anyway. And so because of that, my aunt thought, hey, let me introduce him to my sister because, you know, she's got a child already and you obviously get on with it, which is, you know, very important, especially for my mom as well, to make sure that whoever she chooses to be with was okay with me. And they started dating, then got married in Zimbabwe. And then he got a job opportunity in Holland. And my mom thought it was a great opportunity for me at the time because Zimbabwe was just getting into its political financial problems.
Yeah, that's like the
hyper just before hyper. Well, it was actually hyperinflation hadn't just hit yet, but
was it the end of the 90s?
It was beginning of 2000s. Yeah, so beginning of 2000, and my mom wasn't sure where the country was going, and she just wanted to make sure that I had a future. So education wise, she thought, you know what, that might be a great move for us to go to Holland. So Tino does have a future for sure, because schools in Zimbabwe were great, but if we weren't sure where the country was going at that time. And she didn't want to risk it for me. Plus, she also thought it was important for me to get to know a different culture, you know, just to broaden my life. Like my grandparents were fortunate enough to travel a lot, even for a Black African family. Like my aunties and my mom had gone on holiday to Greece, to London, you know, to Portugal. So they'd seen the world, and my mom thought it was important, you know, that I witnessed it too. So then we moved. Yeah.
And you were like 11.
I was 12. Yeah, 12 years old, man. It was a culture shock.
And what did your mother do for a profession?
My mom in Zimbabwe was, she was working for, at the time, I think at the time we left, I can't remember if she was in real estate or if she was working for a trading company, like a Marlin, what is it called?
What she did in Zimbabwe, she could do in Holland.
Yeah, it was basically marketing. So she was in her marketing, and then I think she started working for UPC when we moved here. She worked there for ages, and now she could
continue like.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah, it was easy for her to think, and she chose obviously an English-speaking company. On top of that, she learned Dutch as well. Like, so she was within within the first year, we, you know, both of us were able to articulate ourselves in Dutch, so getting a job made it also easier for her.
But I can imagine, like, it must have been like
a culture
shock for you as well, because you were growing up in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I grew up in like a private school, so I went to a private school. I had to wear a uniform to school. You know, all girls school, so no boys at the school. And like just little things. I remember when you would see your teacher in the hallways, we used to wear a hat. We had to wear a hat outside of classrooms, and you had to take off your hat and say good afternoon or good morning to the teacher. Yeah. And then when they replied, that's when you put your hat back on. And when in the mornings, when the teacher would walk into the classroom, we'd all stand up and say good morning until they replied, sit down. So there was this discipline. It
was very strict and disciplined.
And in a way, I'm grateful that I had, because it was that respect that you have for your elders, which I think you should have. There's just certain morals and stuff that I'm so grateful to have had. So then when I moved here and I had to choose what I could wear whatever I wanted to wear. Schools were mixed, boys were in my classes all of a sudden as well. You know, that was weird for me as well. And funny thing was I was 4 years ahead in math when I arrived in Holland. Which made it easier for me to do Dutch classes in the mornings, because that's when they had math and stuff.
Yeah. So
and then in the afternoon,
you already knew.
I was like, dude, guys are only on this. I did that 4 years ago. I was like, we did that 4 years ago. But yeah, education, very important in Zimbabwe. Our president, till this day, even though he's dead, is still the most educated president in the history of the world.
Wow.
Yeah. He had like 12 degrees or something.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't know.
So that was very much what he implemented into Zimbabwe. I think we're still the most literate country in Africa, which is, I'm a very proud Zimbabwean, as you can tell by what I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, you should be.
But yeah, so then we moved.
Then you moved to Holland and you got into this class with mixed boys, girls.
It was insane, and then and especially the level of attitude and disrespect towards elders and parents was very shocking to me. Like I had friends back chatting to their parents, and I looked at them like, are you mad? Like, you do not back chat to your parents. Like, you don't even if they are wrong, you keep your mouth shut. And it was difficult, I think, for my mom as well. And also for me to maintain that Zimbabwean and the African morals and way of talking and communicating at home, and then being faced with a different, more liberal way of communicating with that I would see through my friends. And, then I would, as a child does, you come home and you try some shit and my mom would look at me like,
really?
Yeah, you better fucking, excuse my language, but you better say sorry right now. So I think I still have problems with her when it comes to that, but it's because I've lived in two worlds. So I have the African in me, but then obviously because I lived here, I'm also influenced by my environment here. And you see the positives of having more of a liberal upbringing, but you also see the negatives of it, the same as you see positives of having more of an African, more strict upbringing, and the negatives that comes with it too.
Yep.
So hopefully I'll be able to mesh the two if I ever have children.
So then you were in Holland, and
the biggest culture shock.
You already started modeling in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Did you continue to model in Holland, or did it take a while before you started here?
Yeah, it took me until I think my first shoot I did, I was 15 or 16. So it did take me a couple of years to get into it. And that was by mistake, I say. My dad was working for Epson at the time, and they had the professional photography fair that they were doing. And then they had the photographer Hans van Omera, that he was used to doing product photography, and they decided to combine to show how their printers, they knew had these new printers that had these pictures you could print off like actual.
It was on a fair, like a photography tech fair.
Yeah. So only for like the professionals were invited.
Not
and
an
stuff.
art fair.
No, not an art fair. So like really photography fair, and they wanted to show how their printers actually work. So what they decided to do is had Hans van Omera have a live shoot to get people engaged in the product, and then print it out, for them live to see like, hey, look, you've just took a picture, and you can print it on, picture. What is it? What is the paper called? Picture paper. You know what I mean, guys? You guys know what I mean. And so that was
photo paper.
Oh my goodness, did I really just say picture paper? Photo paper, you guys. Excuse me. Anyway, so that was when my dad emailed him and said, hey, you're looking for another model? I heard through work, like my daughter would be perfect. And, he sent him, I think, a few shots of me, like we just took a, quick few shots of me, sent them to him. And he's like, oh yeah, awesome. It'd be great. So that was my first shoot in Holland, let's say, really, where.
And you were 15? Or?
I was 15 or 16. Yeah. So that was fun.
And from there
From there, I actually took those pictures, because then we did another shoot. I found another photographer that was there and invited me to do a shoot. So I went to his place with my mom, did a shoot there. We took those pictures. We started to go to agencies, because mom was like, you know what, you need to really like get an agency. So I started going around. Of course, you do all the like big ones, so Elite and all of that. And everywhere I went, they loved my pictures, but then they asked about my height.
Yeah, you were too short.
I'm so short.
That's something unbelievable. I've talked to a lot of models about this. A lot of people I've worked with, because for me, it's not necessary that the people I work with are
tall
models or tall or anything, you can make a person look as tall as you want.
Exactly. Depends on
that's like the main thing that I don't get. I mean, I get like the
for runway.
Runway. And for
even then I don't get it, but I can understand it more. You want to have like
understand it more.
A vision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like the height, come on.
I
can make you look like you're 190.
Dude, people don't even believe that I'm my height. A lot of the times when I book shoots, sometimes when I book new shoots and I have to meet someone, at a train station or somewhere it's quite busy, I'll have people like,
are you?
Because I'm short, and on pictures I look a lot tall. Really, people be like, "Yo, I thought you were so much taller than you are," and I'm like, "Thank you." That's
I mean, that's like the only restriction or
that I have
that you have, like not to be like in a like in one of the big agencies, but there are a lot of agencies that I think
would probably take me on. I think now, when I first started looking in 2000, when was that? I can't remember. When I was 15.
It was like 2006.
Yeah. Okay. So when I started first looking, going to go-sees and like trying to get to agencies, then it was so very much not done. Like you do not have short models and you keep the thing. I mean, the main thing they used to tell me is the clothes were specific size, like the sample clothes, which makes sense until I started booking shoots, and even the models that were the specific from agencies that had the specific shape, you know, heights and whatever, you would still have to like clip and tag and exactly. So I never understood that rule either. Like when I saw it to myself, like when at first I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know, sample clothing. Lengthwise,
especially when you're doing shoots, like when there's only one model.
That's what I don't get.
If you have like multiple models in one shot and you are like
shorter.
So much shorter than the rest, I'm like, I can understand.
Yeah, that makes it harder.
But if you are booked for like a shoot
just for me,
just for you, then it's no problem, right? I mean, I can make you look like
you make me look like a giant, man. First, you always make me look tall. And,
but I think that's something for fashion shoots or editorial shoots.
You wear heels, by the way, as well, people. Like they forget, like I can wear heels. And then also like if you're talking about the length of the trousers, you can also pin them up, or you can wear heels and make me not look like I'm walking on or wearing mommy's clothes or whatever. But
that made you be forced into more of the art photography scene, right?
Well, it made me forced into just doing it on my own.
Yeah.
So
you pick out the people you want to work with.
Yeah, like I decided. I mean, actually, to be quite honest, from like the age of 15, 16, after like going through those go-sees and getting such negative, well, not negative, but not getting positive, constantly hearing your height. So everything else is fine. Oh my God, you're beautiful, but your height. Oh my God, you look great on pictures. Oh, you model great, but your height. Try casting bureaus. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a commercial model per se. I feel like I can do high fashion despite the fact that I'm high. So that did put a damper on my step, and I didn't really do much with modeling. I think when I turned like 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, that's when I was like, you know what? Why am I letting people tell me I can't model? And I think that's also with social media, you know, Facebook becoming more popular, Instagram coming out as well, and seeing that you didn't necessarily need an agency to book shoots, right? At least for the beginning, like at the level, because I had to build up my portfolio.
You need to build a great portfolio. And if you are being seen on social media, and if you have a reach, then so I mean, people
will then come to you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when I started. And I think you were one of the first posts that I responded to. So I had to also be careful with who I wanted to work with. Like, your style in photography, if it was outdated or not. Like I was very particular in the shoots, like, because I know a lot of other models that started out were just wanting to work with as many photographers as possible. And I literally was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to work with the photographers. I find that your pictures are amazing. I don't care if you're established or not established.
If there's quality
or potential or
aesthetic,
something, something that I like that's dope. Then I remember seeing your post, and it said like looking for a nude model. Doesn't matter what, what ethnicity, what height, nothing, like basically no restrictions. So that already was refreshing, because a lot of the times you look at a post and there's certain restriction. I'll still apply because I think like, I'm dope anyway. You can fucking want me anyway. Like you should want me, right? That's, and you have to be cocky like that, because if you're not cocky, you only respond to one post and then you've got one shot of getting a shoot, which is ridiculous. So you do need to sometimes like, you're like, okay, mate, it's like a job interview.
Yeah.
You don't always fit everything in a job description.
No, but just try.
But you try anyway, right? And then with you, I had never done nude photography. I mean, I'd done topless, but I never done proper like art nude photography. But
for me, that was in a point of my career that I didn't have that much
reach
experience in nude photography as well. That was one of the first times.
Oh, really? You didn't tell me that either.
No,
I thought it was not. I thought you were in.
I mean, we were at the same.
Oh no, yeah, you were. We were at the same level, like as in we just starting out, both of us type
because
vibe.
I needed to build the portfolio with nude pictures.
Yeah, and
I was really like trying to find my own way and my own path. And, I really wanted to stay away from all the Playboy stuff.
Yeah, you wanted to make it more artistic.
Not the thing I'm interested in. I'm much more like more of an artistic approach and more of a subtle approach. But I was really like searching at that moment for the way I wanted to go. Yeah. So I did this post on Facebook, I believe.
Yeah, you did on Facebook.
So I didn't tell you and you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you.
And then we did it.
I mean, it was amazing.
And the funny thing is, like, it was a nude shoot. And
we didn't do nude.
No.
I think we did topless.
Probably one or two.
Yeah, but everything was covered as well.
It was not about the nude. And it's never, that's a little bit weird to say, but
it's not about the nude.
It's not about the nude.
No, I know
it's
that.
about like the
feeling of the picture, the vibe.
Exactly. And if I do like this post for looking for people for nude photography, then of course you have to state that it's nude because you're asking your models to take off their clothes.
Yeah.
But it's not about
the nudeness. I'm sure you got the most incredible responses to that.
Yeah, that's don't get me started.
Because I know that I've gotten like after like working with you.
It's really, really funny. But I mean that's just some of them. So when I saw your reply to the post, I was like, I really wanted to work with you because, like I told many times before, I think in the podcast, it's like people ask me, how do you find your models and what are you looking for?
Yeah.
And I can never explain because it's something that a person must have. And it's like,
you can't tell beforehand.
You
can't say it has to be this and this.
And that's the difficult part doing like this post on Facebook. You are asking people to send a picture.
Yeah.
So that one picture is the one picture they want you to see.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's the most beautiful picture they can find.
Fine, yeah, of them. So they think.
So it happens that then the person walks in and I'm like, you're not the person from the photo, I literally opened the door once for a model. And then I asked her, like, can I help you?
Who are you? Oh my God, fuck off.
And she's like, well, I'm having a shoot here. And I'm like, no, but I was expecting like, and she's like, that's me. And I'm like,
filters.
Why? How is this possible? I mean, what picture did you send of yourself? And then I saw the picture. I'm like, that's not you.
That's not. How did you do that?
That's really crazy.
And that's also what I don't understand about models is that they send one picture. How can someone tell from one picture what you look like? I mean, me specifically, if I change my hair, I'm a different person. Completely different person.
And you change your hair quite often.
So like, it's very important. Like, I think when I sent you the Hans van Ommeren pictures that we'd done, which was mostly what I'd had, and I didn't have anything else. I wanted to send you my professional pictures, right? I was like, oh, let me I've done this before. I think I did like a few other shoots, like for Amphi students, something like that, that I sent you as well. And I was just, what drew me to you was what you said. It wasn't about nudity. Like, so the pictures, like the examples, I think I responded to you had like one or two pictures and then of yourself, and then the rest was the vibe that you were trying to create.
Exactly.
And then from that, I was like, okay, so this is not like a pervy, which is true. You didn't seem like a pervy photographer that was just trying to get young girls to get naked in front of his camera.
No.
And that happens a lot.
At that time, I work with the mood board sometimes because then at that moment, I didn't have much to show yet.
So you needed to show.
And now I have a lot of photographs to show. So I'm not working with mood boards anymore because when you work with a mood board, there's some expectation about the pictures you are making, and unconsciously
you get fixed. You get stuck.
Get fixed to a certain photo, and that's difficult because even if you don't want to recreate a photo,
you end up doing it anyway.
You've seen that photo, and then if a certain situation happens, in front of the camera, somewhere there's that picture.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not working with mood boards anymore, and only with my own photographs for the last.
I don't think we even
years.
Worked with that mood board that you put on that same day. We didn't even work with that mood board.
No, because
you put it on as an example.
It out and you put it like next to your shoot, then you're constantly seeing.
Oh, let's check. Oh, is it you? You're recreating and not creating.
Yeah, and that's not the goal.
No, you want to.
The goal is to make your own work, and you can be inspired by other people.
Yes,
but that's something different than recreating a photograph.
Exactly.
But getting back to like the results of the first shoot, it was very funny that it was a nude shoot, but actually the photographs that are published and that are like known from that first shoot
is none of them are nude.
No nudity at all.
Yeah, everything is like
so that's
covered.
Why I really found it so interesting. And so I was so amazed by us working together. Like, that something happened, you know. There
It
was
did.
this vibe,
It was
there was
magical.
this magic, and also with the team. We must not forget, like
Melanie and Natalie, at that shoot.
Styling and
was Melanie that day? Because Charlotte was supposed to come.
no, that was a different day, I believe. I don't know.
The first shoot was Melanie because Charlotte talked about it because she was supposed to come. Yeah, she was supposed to come and then she sent Melanie instead. And because I keep saying to her, it's so weird that you haven't done my makeup. Because in my head she had.
Yeah, that was true. That was the first
in my head,
one,
she goes, no, that's because Tino, I was supposed to, and then I had to, couldn't. So I sent my, my friend or assistant, whatever it was at the time. And I was like, it's crazy because in my head you've done all the shoots, and you weren't like, it's weird you weren't there for the first one.
All the shoots after was all Charlotte.
Yeah,
Charlotte van Beuzenkom.
Yeah, Charlotte van Beuzenkom
and Natalie Alting-Siebert.
Yes, we cannot do it without you guys. We cannot.
I mean, the whole team, like the four of us, it's so special because every time we go into the studio and we're about to make like this magical things
we
happen.
Never know what we're going to do.
We never know what to do. And
what we're going to do.
I'm in contact with Natalie before the shoot. Like, let's go this way or let's go this way. And but I mean, that was the first 2 times. Now I'm just saying to Natalie, like, Bring stuff.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll try everything.
I mean, lately I've been working with a lot of geometrical shapes, and I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, bring hats, bring everything.
And what I love about Natalie, she brings stuff that you don't think of using.
Yeah, because most of the time, like in the morning, she comes in and she opens her little car, and then a lot of stuff comes out. Yeah. She puts it in my studio. I'm like,
oh, the fuck is this?
Really? What are we going to do with this? And then she's like, we're going to use this with this, and then we're going to cut this, and we're going to use this, and we're going to shape this, and we're going to, and I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to do this.
And with her, what I love about it is she thinks with you, because you have obviously black and white photography, so texture is so important. Yeah. And she really thinks of texture when she chooses certain, like not even hats or clothing, just like random,
it's like
random
props
that she has. Like, I mean, we use a mat. A placemat, placemat and a dish mat.
And the funny thing is, like, if people see the images, I'm always really hesitant about saying like what the items is. Because if you know,
then you start.
Then sometimes it's like, really? Yeah. Is that like this? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I'm not telling anything. And funny thing is, then that's something I can share. Yeah. Like, I have had pictures like with the most stupid stuff, like a prop, and then people are saying like, which designer is that?
Isn't art amazing? People, fashion is crazy.
A funny thing, right? You know? And it's not even designer stuff.
No,
because
it's just how you portray it.
It's not important.
No, it's not.
I mean, if that's the purpose, then it's important.
Yeah.
If you're doing a shoot for a shoot for a magazine, then it's important, and then you can just focus on that. You know. Yeah. But for me, my personal work, it's not important. No. It's about the image. It's about
the complete
the structure, and it's about building something. Because a lot of times when we work, you just stand there.
And then you guys build around me.
And then we just build. And then we build. And we build.
And then sometimes
it's too much.
And then sometimes shit falls apart. And then you... one of our favorite pictures is when that big white hat thingy.
Yeah. And it just fell
and
down.
It became the most amazing. One of my favorite... I can't even say one of my favorite because they're all my favorite. But like, one of the top favorite pictures.
So it's like this process of building and building. And then editing. A lot of times we go too far.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, take it off.
Yeah, take it back.
Take it off. And then sometimes we end up with the first thing we started with. But that's the funny thing, because there's something happening. And there's something
it's a creative, it's a collective.
And we cannot, we didn't think of it before we started.
Yeah, it's just
because
that
if
moment.
You thought of it before you started, then it won't happen.
Never happen, yeah.
So, and then we end up like, our days are very long.
Yeah, which I love.
We start like in 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, 10 o'clock when Tino comes late. I'm on Africa time, people. I'm from Africa time, believe me. Anyway,
you're forgiven. But then we work until like 6, 7. You know, it's for
constant.
A shoot day. It's a long day, but there's so much going on during that shoot that a lot of times we were like, we have to hurry
because we go running out of time and we haven't done all the looks we want. And especially when I'm sitting getting my makeup done, and then Natalie's behind me showing stuff and I'm like, ooh, bus, what about this?
And I'm trying on everything myself.
It's so fun. I think really honestly, what made it difficult working with you, especially the first time. And one of the first things I must also remember that I forgot to say is you told me I arrived and I was told that everything was going to be black and white.
Yeah.
And I was looking at you like, no, you're going to make some color. Yeah. I was like, you're going to do like 1 or 2 in color because you were showing me the work in color.
Mm-hmm. But that's not about the color. No.
And then he tells me, yeah, but it's because I'm looking at an image and I'm like, oh, that's really dope. And then he's like, yeah, but remember, it's going to be black and white. And I looked at you like, yeah, but you're going to keep a few like in color, right? You're like, no. And I remember in my head going, oh my God, I can't deal with this, man. This is fucking insane. No, I don't want just black and white. I want some color too. Have you seen my skin? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I remember going complete in my head. It was like error. And then I had to just be like, okay, well, this is not you're not the photographer. This is not your shoot. So you need to let go.
And you need to see what happens.
And you need to just trust the process because you did choose to work with him for a reason. Mm-hmm. So but I was pleasantly surprised.
Just what you told me just a few minutes ago. It's like, it's not about the colors. And because it's not about color, and I'm never working in color, I'm so focused on shapes, on textures, rather than feeling, on emotion, you know? And I mean, I think that makes it like
it does.
My
it does.
Work. And because I never work in color.
And that's what I love about you now.
When we're building on set,
it's all color.
It's all color, and it's the most hideous colors ever.
Sometimes it's like, yo, you cannot put that together.
But that's the fun part because I look through the colors.
Yeah.
It's like it's purple. Oh, and that one is yellow. Oh,
okay,
just
put
matter.
It on. Yeah,
Once I'm shooting and I'm in this focus mode, it's all about shapes and it's all about like these emotions, and that's different than
most photographers. Yeah, and I think and also I'd love the you're open for what a lot of photographers I've noticed, and just no shade at all to any other photographers. Everyone has their own process and how they work, and I respect everyone's way of working. But what I think fits with me more and why I like working with you more is you're not, like you said, because we don't work with a mood board, there is no fixed idea in mind before. And obviously you have some type of idea of what you would like to create, but you're not set on it, which makes it so much easier for me as a model to try different things on set and you to be open to, oh yeah, hold that. Like, that's dope. That's cool. Whereas I've noticed with other photographers, when I want to try something outside of what they had in mind, I have to like wait until they're adjusting the light and then do what I want to do, the pose that I want to do. But like, for example, and then wait for them to turn around and see it themselves and see, oh, that's great. Hold that. In my head, I'm thinking, duh, I knew that. That's why I did this. But you didn't want to hear it when I suggested it to begin with. So now I had to find my own way of
it's a collaboration.
But also not stepping on someone's ego in a way. Like, because like a lot of people very much, it's my idea and, you know, like, this is what I want and you're just the model and this is, you need to create what I see in the vision, which is my job to take what you see, but it's also my job to help enhance whatever you've given me.
Well, and it's a collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, it should be.
That's important because I really love the unpredictability. And if I can say like, we're not working with a preset plan, that's fine. But if on set, I'm just pushing only my ideas, then it's still no collaboration.
No.
It's me using you as
a prop, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's different, you know? And it's I think it's very valuable for the whole process and for the quality of the image if both
everyone in the team
what's happening, you know?
Yeah, and I noticed, I can tell as well. I've got pictures with, you can tell I wasn't obviously as comfortable or as happy with what I was told to do per se. And it was just an energy in that picture that you can tell. She, and I had people go to me, you didn't like that shoot, did you? And I'm like, nope, I didn't. But, you know.
But it's also has to do with the vibe. Do you know each other? I mean, that's not like a critical thing. I mean, you can make magic happen when you never met each other.
Yeah, you can.
You can make beautiful images. I mean, most of the models I'm working with,
we
met on set.
Yeah. I mean, our most iconic pictures were the first shoot that we ever did. I mean, the ones that people know from us the most.
The most important, but it helps if you know each other and you know exactly like if you come in here in the studio.
Yeah.
And Natalie just sets everything like, and we're saying we're doing this. And you were like, yeah, sure. You know?
Yeah, it's never, I trust you guys completely. Literally, I trust you guys completely.
Great. That's the only thing you will say.
I might not see it myself per se at that time, but I trust your guys' vision because I've worked with you guys so often. I know you guys and I know you guys will never make me look like an idiot as well. And you're right. It is because I know you and know Natalie that I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Whatever you guys want to do. Like you let me know. I stand there. What? Not? Okay, cool. So that is fun. And the fact that we've just managed to create these, I think, such iconic images based on the fact that we didn't. I mean, if you would put all our pictures, all our pictures down in a row, I think people would really think that we specifically, or you specifically, chose a certain set and a look for each image because it's so like powerful. It's like, how is that by accident? How did you guys just create that? Yeah, in the moment, in the whim, and
yeah, that's a question I get a lot.
And that's art,
like
though.
What you say, like everything happens spontaneously.
Yeah,
but how can you do this spontaneously?
Yeah.
There has to be like some kind of thought, and I'm like, not really.
I mean, yes, in a way, like, of course, it's gonna be.
I mean, it's not
shapes
like,
and
it's not like the model. You, for example, is coming into my studio, and I happen to find a hat.
No, I mean, that's not it. No, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we are building
on what we have. Yeah.
We are. I am in contact with a stylist, and she is doing her thing and to make sure that this happens.
And then the makeup artist makes sure that
exactly. That's never a preset plan.
No,
because that doesn't work. You know, and I know there are a lot of photographers who like even draw everything they want to do, and then recreate that image. And I'm like, wow. That's also
amazing.
Way, but that's not, I mean, my drawing is really, really terrible.
Do you do stick drawings?
Yeah. I mean, if I write you a letter now, you can't even read it.
Really?
So, yeah,
oh no, I've seen it when you signed my book, like the other books that you gave me. I saw, you had.
And it's like, but
it's arty. It's like later, like.
Yeah, you can call it arty.
Yeah, I mean, you got an artist like handwriting.
A 2-year-old handwriting as well.
I mean, I wasn't gonna go there, but like your words, not mine.
I mean, it's something. Sometimes I'm. Well, am I jealous of that? I don't know. I mean,
you see the beauty in it.
Like so dedicated to making this one idea you had in your head. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could do that as well. But then on the other hand, it's like, no, I'm not. I don't want it because that's not how I make my art. You know, it's like it's not based on coincidence. It's all based on like the situation, and the connection,
and what what you see at that moment as well. It's really
and sharing this vision of aesthetics, and I think that's because sometimes I'm working with models or with let's say models, because that's easier to say
than just people,
with people, and they don't really understand the way I'm working. And then it makes it harder.
Yeah, what?
Because
so do you,
it's like
how are your other shoots? Yeah, because I know how you shoot when I shoot.
Most of them are like perfectly fine. You know, it's
like how we work.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But sometimes it happens that the person I'm working with doesn't feel my vibe, or like they know my work and they're like, yeah, I want to be in that work. I want to be part of that. And then we're shooting, and then I'm like, yeah, but you didn't really get it, you know?
Because they're not as comfortable, maybe,
or not as free or
they had their own image in their head before they came, maybe as well, what they wanted to create.
And that's like the one of the downsides of working with models. Yeah. Sometimes, is that they have their poses, they have their looks. And that's totally fine, and especially commercially, it's perfect because that's why they are that good, you know. But sometimes for me that doesn't work.
No, I know that when I shoot with you normally and other shoots, I move a lot more. With you, I know that less is more, like so more subtle movements and hold a pose maybe longer than I would hold a pose for another photographer because. You will take 4 or 5 of the same pose and then there'll be like a slight change, like just a head or a shoulder up or a down. And that is for you. So with you, it's more like, okay, giving you more not like on purpose poses, but less like it's weird. It's like I can't explain it. It's just what it is.
It's funny because what you're saying is true. When we work together, it's more static. There's not a lot of movement. But in other shoots, I almost demand more movement.
That's weird.
That's really weird, right? Like I love like some people, but that's
how you
depending on the person.
Yeah, but like you also look at me and like honestly,
some people like they move like so beautifully
that you need to have that.
It's not. I'm not saying you're not moving.
Thank you. No, you just gave me this. You guys,
they were born to
move like that on the for
and
you.
Every move they make, it's elegant,
artistic.
And then we need to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very static, but this very static image can also be very dynamic, and that's all has to do with shapes and emotion.
Yeah, and I think that the way my body is built with your work, it makes more sense for me to be static.
Yeah, because
I have very deliberate shape.
There is a lot of movement in some images.
There is.
I'm looking at your hand like all the time now.
Oh yeah,
and I mean it's very static.
It is, but you can see I just did that. Yeah.
There is a lot of movement.
God, that was that kimono that we nearly didn't get. Remember that? Yeah. Tino wanted to do a geisha shoot, and then Natalie, thankfully, love you, Natalie, decided I'm gonna get you a proper kimono, and she got me a wedding. What was it? A wedding kimono,
I
like a proper
so.
So even like
it was beautiful.
It was amazing. And then when she went to pick it up, they nearly didn't want to. That morning, she went to pick it up for our shoot. She wasn't allowed to take it or something. Remember something crazy?
Went wrong, yeah. And she eventually
she's awesome. Like
that was funny because I was at the moment thinking of doing like a shoot or a series of images in like a Japanese style. Like the clothing, because I love the minimal look of the Japanese clothing.
They're awesome,
and Japanese designers. I mean, that's
I just been back from Tokyo.
I really
right?
want to do more often, but that's true. That was the only idea we had.
That's the first time
let's do something with minimal clothing.
That's only because I came back from Tokyo, and I was like, I was in Tokyo. You guys, we need to do a geisha shoot.
In that way, it's not a bad thing to have an idea.
No, but because it went from
it's not like I'm doing every shoot without an idea.
No.
Sometimes there is like a theme.
One specific thing.
Or just let's do something with minimal design.
Yeah.
And then we do with minimal design. But what exactly we're shooting, that's like all depending on
the energy, on the moment and the vibe and sometimes even the daylight lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it changes. Yeah.
So, but that's like this little summary of 5 years.
Yeah, like
I mean, I
every
should
year
say
we've done
5 years, but it's more than 5 years. And we in this period of time we did 6 shoots.
Yeah,
because it was 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah,
so that's 6.
This year.
And then this March the virus hits.
Yeah, it was shit, man.
And I had a lot of exhibitions and a lot of stuff going on.
And I was gonna I was gonna come with you to. I was gonna come to New York.
And London.
Literally, I had got back from New York the week before the virus hit. And I was telling everyone that I was sick. Like when I was leaving, I was like, I don't want to leave. But don't worry, you guys. I'm going to be back in the beginning of April, 1st of April, because I've got this exhibition. You guys, I was inviting everyone, everyone. And then the virus hit.
Yeah, and then the virus hits. And then all my exhibitions got cancelled. All my shoots got cancelled. Like with everybody.
Life just got cancelled.
Yeah, life just went on pause.
Yeah, which is also good.
Which made me think of the things I'm really passionate about. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is making photo books. And now I had the time to think of like, is this something I want to do more often? Mm-hmm. So I decided to start my own company. And this is like the first time I'm telling.
Yes.
And I was very hesitant to, I was like questioning myself, like, should I
start something new in this time?
Something new in this time, you know?
Yeah.
But I did. So I set up my own publishing house. And one of the reasons to start this publishing house is to start publishing my own books, but not only my own books, also to publish books for other photographers or other artists. It's not photography only. It's just like art.
Just art.
Like,
yeah.
So I did. And then I was thinking like, I want to do something special. Like the first book needs to be special.
Gonna make me cry.
And then I was like, we are working together for 5 years, so it is an anniversary. So I decided to make the Tino book.
He made me a book, you guys. You guys, I cried like a baby when he was... Okay, so first of all, like 3 months ago, no, two months ago, you told me, I've got a surprise for you. I hate surprises. I hate them. And he goes, but I can't tell you yet. So I'm like, fuck, okay, I wonder what it is. And like with Bus, you never know because you have the most random surprises. Like one time it was like, we're going to do a virtual reality video for Museum Hilversum. Yeah. Like, oh, we're going to be doing this and this. And I'm like, really?
That's something
really?
we didn't talk about.
But we'll talk about that just now.
Yeah.
And then today I came and then I get this book.
I didn't want to tell you because I really wanted to be a surprise. And I'd already given it to you.
Like, yes, just now. And
just
I cried.
Before the podcast because I was like, it's
yeah, maybe he knew I was gonna cry.
it's too hard to give it to you like live on a podcast. But you know, I felt that it was the time to publish like all the work we did until now.
Thank you. You guys, it's really amazing. Not just because it's my work. Yeah, it's a beautiful
the podcast
book.
is being filmed as well.
They can see it.
Yeah, they can see it a little bit. But the only thing is, I've chosen to have an all black book.
And I love that because Tino's all black. Power to the people. Sorry.
And
okay.
I really wanted it to be subtle, so it's like embossed.
Yes, like I love that.
Your name, and I just wanted to keep it simple, like calling it only Tino.
Yes, I like that.
And then when you open it up, there's a print included, like
one of my favorite of this year's shoot.
Yeah,
right?
Because that's another thing. Like we always agree on that. Every shoot we do, you
get a print.
You get a print. Yeah. So every time we do a shoot, you choose a print. I have it printed and framed and everything, and you've chosen this one, right?
Yeah.
It comes in an edition of 150, so it's very limited edition.
You guys better get to saving and buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my book.
It's all
everything we've done.
Everything we've done. I mean,
literally everything.
It's possible that 1 or 2 images didn't make the selection, but
everything is in there.
In the end, it's everything we did, and the money I'm earning with this book, like the profit I'm making for this book, will go back into the company, and with the money in the company, I have the opportunity to make books for other people.
Yes,
and I am like in the situation to give other people a platform as well. So and not only other people. I mean, let it be clear that it's also my own books that will be published there.
Yeah.
But like with the profit of the organization, I'm not like giving myself money.
No.
It's all be held in the organization.
Yeah.
And we're going to publish books for other people. And I mean, it's very relevant to say, like in these times, to also include Black people, white people, like all people, like giving a voice
to people.
Despite like where you're from. You know.
But especially like I love how you're saying that, you know, how you want to give Black people in the art industry more of a platform, because I don't think people necessarily, which is crazy, and it sounds weird that I'm actually saying this, but I don't think people necessarily associate Black people with art, which is, I know it's weird. There's only a few like famous artists in all types of media form that are of, you know, Black heritage, whatever. And I don't know if it's because of hip hop and the rappers and the world that you have that type of thing, that you have that, because I grew up in Zimbabwe where Black art is obviously very prominent because you have most of us, you know, it's Africa. So anyone that creates art in that country is mostly, Black, which was normal to me. You know, I grew up studying, you know, all the artists, doing Shakespeare school and having that type of European or Western knowledge of art incorporated with my own heritage of art. And I think that especially what you notice in other communities, especially in the States, Black communities don't have the same access to that information and that knowledge. And you don't know who, like you can't play Beethoven, you don't learn how to play the piano because that's not necessarily
a thing
in your community, which is weird because music, art, everything, it has no color.
No.
You know, it's whatever you like and what you are good at, and that's what you should be doing. So I think it's interesting that, and I think it's brilliant that you are, and that our first book is me, and especially in the times that we are in right now.
Yeah,
because it's not on purpose.
I think it's important to talk about. You know, we had this long conversation.
But do you know what's even great, Bas? You didn't do this because of this movement. You didn't choose this. First of all, you didn't choose this book or this me as a subject because of the movement. This is something you already obviously planned before this all started.
Yeah,
and also our working together has never been for that purpose as well. Like it's just.
But now, like because of the movement, and because of the whole Black Lives Matter, and the situation that is happening around the world now, it really makes you think again. And then it's like I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying like, isn't it a great way to use your platform as well to give people, Black people, which are not privileged, to give them the platform that they also deserve, you know? And it's like, I really want to speak up about this. Yeah. And I really want to make sure that people hear this movement. And I mean, I'm not saying that the books I will be publishing are all about this.
No, but that you want to, like, it should be a combination.
Equal,
exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's if you have the opportunity to do this and you have the financial opportunity to do this,
why not?
I mean, why not? You know, and offer people like great artists, great photographers, great projects, and even projects that are surrounding this or about this subject. You know, give them a platform which other publishers or will not do or cannot do, or you know, and I'm in the opportunity to do it, and that's, it's not like a thing I only want to do, but it should be included in everything, you know. So it will be my books, and it will be books of friends of mine. But it's also like a call for people, like, if you have a great project, if you
let me know, we can publish it for you.
It's like, and it's not like I'm taking on everybody who comes.
No. But what you selecting and what you'd like,
It's not only me. I mean, it's a team effort. Yeah, you know. But it's a way to like do this. Yeah, you know?
Exactly.
So I feel that's very important to say. Like, I'm not doing this because I want to make more money. No,
and you're also not following a hype. You're not. It's not a hype. You're not doing it for a trend because you think it's trendy. I can attest as well that we've had conversations about your work being questioned in the past, especially like before there was this movement. Like, oh, why is it that you only, have Black models as photography? Like, how come you only take pictures of Black models? Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time you mentioned something like that to me, I was like, that's bullshit. You take pictures of everyone. Like, maybe in the past few shoots that you did, they happened to all be, Black, but that happened. That was coincidental. It wasn't on purpose.
And friends and people I meet online. But of course, there's bullshit. A mixture. I'm looking for certain
just Black models. No, that's nonsense. Not, you know? Or you're not, or the other way around. That you're looking for you're just looking for people. And I think that's something that you've always done.
The fact that people are asking these questions, like, why do you work with Black models?
Why
the
not?
Question alone, that's really wrong. And that's always.
And I remember when you came to me about it. I remember the first time you mentioned it to me, like, Tino, is it weird? Yeah, and I remember you were like, is it weird that I think that it's weird that they're asking me that? And I'm like, I was like, no, boss, it's quite refreshingly nice to know that, you being a Caucasian man, that feels like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys for questioning? Yeah. Why is that even a question? Yeah. Like, why do you, exactly. Weird. But so I think I just wanted to make sure people know this is something.
Yeah, it's not something I'm
that just came about now. It's something that you've been dealing with
for so long. Yeah. But now, and we talked about this before we started the podcast, and we said to each other, like, let's stop the conversation here and let's talk about it when the mic is on, because I think it's very. I think it's. What I can't
remember what you're trying to say.
No, I don't know. Wow.
Well,
my head is like...
It's like too much. I mean,
my head is twisted.
We were talking... What were we talking about actually beforehand? Talking about you were talking to your friend about it and how it's...
the publishing.
Yes.
Well, using that platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've completely lost what I wanted to say.
It's okay. It'll come back. My mom always says if you can't remember, it wasn't that important.
Well, it is important. But,
I also used to say as a child, it was important, mommy. I just can't remember it. It'll come back. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But this movement... Let
me think about it. I will come back to it.
But this movement is, I mean, for me, like I went to the dam on the Monday and it's great. This movement's amazing. And I love how, you're noticing companies now trying to incorporate, Black people into, higher positions, all of that. That's beautiful. But I was saying to you as well, is like, I hope people realize it's something that is going to take a lot of time for it to change because it's not just, holding places of position and changing things. It's also a mindset. And it's a mindset that has been reinforced.
Now I remember.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, great.
The fact that this movement is going on now.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been for many, many years.
Exactly.
And it's always been there.
Yes.
But the fact that the movement is now growing so big and a lot of people are talking about it, it makes you realize that you want to educate yourself more, and you want to learn about this more, and you want to understand why there are so many people like dealing with racism
on a daily basis.
So it sometimes it looks like because of the movement now you're talking about this. Yeah, well,
but hopefully it needed something. We needed something.
That jumpstarts like a discussion.
Yeah.
But it's not like I never
thought about it.
No. And now because of the movement, it's like, and now I'm going to do something about it.
You're not jumping on the bandwagon.
No, that's something I really want to address. You know, and it really moves me and it really touches me. Like
you're saying, you're watching the documentary.
You're never like so much aware because me as a white man, I'm not like dealing with this myself in my daily life. But the fact that you are being pointed at a lot, so many people that are dealing with it in daily life, it makes you realize, like, I want to know why this happens, and I want to know how I can,
what you can do to do it,
do about this, and talk to people about this, and try to share information about this, and like I was saying to you, I think that's it's important. Yeah,
but like I was saying, it's not only important that you as a white man does it, but me as a Black woman also needs to do it, because I live in the same system that has been implementing this racial constant racism, this systematic racism. I've been affected by it too. I've had to stop myself one day, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but one day I remember, I think years ago, and it was dark and I was walking down the street and a Black man was walking and I wanted to cross the street. And I thought to myself, what the fuck are you thinking? He's Black, you're Black. What? Because he's Black, he's going to rob you? If a white man was what, he could have robbed you too. So I really had to check my own way of thinking.
But that's like a stupid stereotype.
It
system,
is,
right?
but it's how, and if you see how easily me as a Black woman also falls into it, because it's something that is constantly being repeated, that at one point you start thinking it too, and you start believing it too, and you have to, it's like a muscle memory. You have to really fight that
thought.
To push it away and to think something else. It's crazy. I mean, I live in Zimbabwe. I grew up in Zimbabwe. Talking about Zimbabwe, going back there, I mean, it's an African country. We had, we were colonized by England, so we had, colonial rule and power there. And when they left that racial system in place. It was still there, to my mom witnessing it, me witnessing it, to the point when I was there in 2018, 2009, so end of 2018, beginning 2019. And we went out to dinner as a, interracial couple, family. My dad's Dutch, my mom's white, my brother is mixed. I'm obviously not. So we walk into the restaurant, and it is a restaurant that mostly, the richer people go and eat. So if you're more wealthy, you can eat there. So mostly white people were there. And there's obviously a few black people that were there too. But as soon as we walked in, the white people it was like walking back 40, 50 years ago.
Really?
It was insane. They could not stop staring at us, and not staring in, because my brother's beautiful. Like, oh, what a beautiful family. No, like, oh my God, how dare this white man be with a black woman? And then even sometimes from the black side, you still get it as well. Like, how dare you be with a white man? And I can understand the black side more based on what they have experienced. But I also don't get that sentiment. You see, I grew up in a household where my grandfather was the first black millionaire when Zimbabwe was still Rhodesia, so under English rule. He had to move into his house that he bought at night because there was this rule that, you can't live in that area because you're black. So the levels of racism that I endured in an African country and my family endured, and the stories that I've heard is insane. I could go on for days. But the one important thing is my grandparents never taught their children to hate white people, despite all the shit that you went through. So I don't understand the other way around, how you can teach your children to hate a color. You know what I mean? You hate a person that treats you badly, or you don't hate at all, but you dislike someone that treats you badly. You don't dislike because that person's race. Skin or okay, you're American. I hate all Americans now. So I think that is something that we as a people have to deal with. I'm having trouble in this movement as well, like to remind myself not all white people are evil, because I'm seeing so much hateful videos of racist people that I'm like, I don't even want to see a white person right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm scared I'm just going to get angry at you, but that's not right either. Yeah. So we have to find a way, and it's only this.
Yeah, I believe
like
so.
This, talking about it.
I think talking about it, and it's, I don't know how you call it, ongemakkelijk.
It's like an uncomfortable
discussion sometimes. And I also think like it's, you really need to think about the things you say, and you really don't want to hurt another one's feelings by, but you need to speak up.
Yeah, you do need to have the conversation about it.
I noticed that once you are aware of these problems more, especially last weeks, that you start noticing
different things that you didn't notice before.
And also like speaking up to people that are making like racist comments, or it's like now and that's really terrible that
beforehand you would let it go. Me as a black woman would let it go too.
Maybe not let it go. It all
you wouldn't address it all the time.
But now it's like you cannot say it anymore.
At any point, even when it's just a stupid little joke, like what is it? I mean, I've heard growing up throughout, especially when I moved to Holland, one thing that I was made to like, which is something I'm glad that from day one, as soon as I heard that comment, I would look at someone like her, what the fuck? And they thought it was a compliment. They told me, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. And I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
Why? Like, wait, are you trying to tell me I can give you examples of amazingly beautiful black women. Are you trying to tell me my black women aren't beautiful? And I should take this now as a compliment that you think that I am outside of that I am? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's something awful. I know a lot of black women have had to deal with, and a lot of black women have been conditioned to think that is a compliment. And I go, oh wow, thank you. Yeah. No, it's not. It
stops here.
It's disrespectful. And the moment I hear it, I'm like, yo, don't even try that with me. Please don't even dare disrespect my people and try and think you're trying to lift me up, because you're not. You're just literally putting me even more down. And it's like you said, it's little things like that have to stop. Because if I don't stop it now, it can fester. It can grow. It can also stop there. Maybe that's the only like maybe that's the one thought that you're going to have, and that for you, that's not racist. And I get why you think it's not a racist thought, but maybe if you continue thinking that way, no one stops you, it will grow into something else. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing
in the whole modeling world. I mean, I'm not trying to.
No, we're not going to have that discussion. No, I'm not going to call out. I would never do that. But
are you did you have experience with racism within the photography or within the modeling world? I mean, is it something that? It's
very much so. I mean, I've even heard that I can't book you because you're black.
Like, really?
Like straight up. And I'm like, I mean, a part of me was like, okay, well, you know, great for you that you have the balls enough to tell me, like,
your loss,
that it's that reason that literally because I'm black. But at the same time, like, how like you could say that, like, you think that's okay to actually say. My hair, I think you're the only one that's ever asked me to have my hair natural, like really specifically. Was like, no, like, cool, your braids great, but I want your natural hair. And I think that attests to who you are as well, as you see beauty in its natural form, like you in anything, in everything that you do. And the amount of times that, you know, I've been asked, oh, what's your, like, first question is always, what is your hair like now? Which I understand because I change my hair a lot, and Black women do, right? So I totally get that.
Almost weekly.
That I don't even see as a negative at all. It's just more for styling purposes for them to figure it out. But if it's not what they, like, if it's, I remember sometimes when I had my hair, let's say natural, and it was like, oh, but could you not put a weave in? Pardon? Yeah, we want your hair to look more. I'm like, more what? Yeah, like more, like, you know, more like Beyonce. And then those names get called out, Rihanna and stuff. I'm like, oh, you want me to have Caucasian hair? Like, you want me to put a wig? I'm like, I could do that. But at the moment, this is the hairstyle that I'm rocking. So if you can't work with it, I can wear a wig. I can try and wear a wig and, you know, try and work with you. But at the same time, it also always disheartens me that you would rather have a sleek, straight wig than mine. And especially when I have my hair short, like, I'm like, I don't see why you would not want my hair short, because that's even more high fashion editorial look than me having this fake wig or weave that does not even represent my natural hair. You know, I like to change my hair because I personally like to change my hair. I mean,
that's, I always found it like
amazing. Yeah, you loved it. Yeah, like, it was like every time it's like, oh, cool, you got a different hairstyle. Like, cool.
Normally we do like a shoot once a year. Yeah. And then I'm like calling you like a week before, like,
styling was, what are we going to get? Like, sometimes I would even rock up without even telling you. Like, I would rock up with it and I wouldn't even let you know. And that's the beauty of you as well, is you can work with whatever I give you, you will be able to work with. Like, this year specifically was because we'd already done that look. Yeah. And we had like, oh, we're going to be fitting hats and certain things. So it would be easier for you to have your natural hair. Plus you had Rabia as well. And we didn't want it to be too similar or something. I can't remember what Charlotte was saying as well. So I was like, no, perfect. And I love that as well, because for me, it's like, I'd rather you ask for my natural hair than ask me to.
Other way around.
Yeah. That's a compliment to me. Yeah. Like, that's like you see the true beauty. But I've had someone actually touch my hair or and basically be like, oh yeah, it's not nice, huh? And I'm like, excuse you?
Yeah. What?
Like, wait, huh? Like, huh? Did you hear me say that I didn't like my hair? Like, at one point today, did I ever mention, like, for you to have the audacity, it's like me coming up, oh, you got ugly hair. Like, who does that?
Yeah, why should you do that?
Who does that? Or the fact that I have my hair in an afro. Oh, you've put your finger in the whatchamacallit, in the socket. Is that how you got your hair like that?
Yeah.
Can you fucking grow the fuck up? Because we all know Black women have afro texture hair like this. And no, I do not fucking put my finger in a fucking socket. And that's not funny. A fucking joke. No. And I've had so many times over the years had to laugh at that shit, because sometimes it's easier to laugh at it than again to be the angry Black woman. Because then it's like, oh, Neymar, it was a joke. Why are you reacting like that?
Yeah, but I mean that's maybe the uncomfortable part, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, that's something and it's terrible to hear that you have to laugh it off.
Yeah, I have to always be uncomfortable because to make other people be
otherwise,
okay.
I mean, it's terrible, because normally you would say like being getting angry.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, that's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
And now I hope that everybody
I can be angry when I want to be without it being a problem.
Exactly.
But it's like. I'm even tired of talking about it. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like there's a mixture of me that I want to talk about it all the time, but at the same time, I'm tired of talking about it all the time. I post it on Instagram. I still haven't posted my Black Lives Matter or my story on Instagram because I find it so hard. Like
and there's so much.
It's so much that I could talk about, and I also have to figure out, okay, which elements do I want to add into it? Which side of the story do I want to talk about? And I was saying as well, as in what my issue is, again, I've dealt with racism in Africa. To me, that's even hard. Like, I expect people to be racist in Europe. I expect people to be racist in the States.
That's
in my head,
terrible to say, right? I mean, that's the problem.
That is the problem. The reason I expect it is because I'm in white man's country. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but I can be here. And when I get racist things to me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, I mean, they can't, like, this is, you know, their place, their country, they rule. When I'm in my own country, I shouldn't have to feel that way. And yet I still do. Like I said, 2019, 2018, we're looked at weirdly because we're an interracial family. Like, that's insane to me.
It's really insane. And
we're talking about, you guys have been, generations of white people have been born in Zimbabwe, and you still have a problem with mixing with us? Like, that's an issue? Why is it even your business? No one's asking you to sleep with a black man or black woman. Like, so nothing. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Again, you've also got the other side where black people say, you shouldn't mix with white people. Again, it's stupid. Like, I feel like, but there's so much you can go on it for hours and hours and hours. I'm just happy that this movement is starting the discussion to some extent, whether or not the change is going to happen the way people want it to happen straight away.
Well, that's the thing. And that's what we were talking about just before. Like, it happened for years and years and years and hundreds of years. And especially, I just watched the 13th, the documentary, and I was really upset about it. And it's like,
but can you imagine? Sorry to interrupt you. Some people watch that and don't even feel shit.
Yeah, how can you watch it and don't feel shit?
That's what we are fighting. Those are the type of people that I'm up against.
Yeah, but you see, like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and all the movements and all the protests, and it never changed.
No, it just
and now I think, hopefully, because there are so many people at this moment, like protesting and supporting this movement and talking to each other about this, that hopefully now but then everybody needs to join this conversation.
It is,
and then maybe something
can eventually will change for the better. Yeah,
changes.
Yeah.
And it won't change if you don't speak up, and if you don't have this conversation.
We need racial classes. We need to be talking about systematic racism in schools, in every classroom, every history book. It should be implemented. Exactly what happened. I mean, Holland has one of the biggest disgusting histories when it comes to slavery. I mean, you guys were the ones that owned the boats.
It almost.
Invented it and owned the boats that started it all, you know. And I don't think a lot of Dutch people have actually taken ownership to the fact that, you know, and I say it always, I mean, Holland started slavery, but they also were the first to stop it. So I'm very much aware, if I'm looking at the big spectrum, like, okay, you guys started, but I'm also happy to know that even though you started such a disgusting... But the damages were done, you know. But even though you started such a disgusting thing, you also were the first to realize, this is disgusting, we should stop. So there should be, you know what I feel like, you have that now too, where Mark, Premier Rutte was saying Zwarte Piet, there was nothing wrong with it years ago. Like last year, if you asked him, even 2 months ago, if you asked him, they'd say there was nothing wrong with it. And now he's finally coming out and saying, actually, I do see a problem. I can understand. I can, maybe there is a problem with it. Now, I'm happy. Yes, it took him forever, but he's finally seeing it. Now, I've got a lot of other black friends and like, yeah, fuck him. I don't give a fuck. So I'm like, but wait, that doesn't help anything. Isn't the whole point?
Maybe like the whole conversation and the whole movement now forces like
to look at these things, which is good and change.
That's the positive thing of
these
having
movements.
These movements.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So are we not happy?
In the end, it's really terrible that it needs a movement
for that to happen.
I mean, that's insane. That's insane.
Because what the Zwarte Piet debate has been going on, especially in Holland, more publicly and more widely the past couple of years. And I remember the first time someone asked him, what do you think about it? And he said, he made a really stupid comment saying that brothers and sisters in Suriname don't have to, they love it because they don't have to spend hours washing off their faces. Now, I was fuming when I heard that. And then he got the opportunity, I think a year later, someone at some energy or something, some type of congress, someone asked him that question again in English. And I'm thinking, okay, you've learned your lesson, right? You're not going to, even if you feel like it's a good party, you're going to keep your opinions to yourself because you are representing a country and your country has white and black people in it. So you need to be a leader And if you're not going to make it a political situation, don't choose a side then. Rather be neutral, right? I'd prefer you to be a coward and be neutral. What does he do? He repeats it again.
Yeah.
So now he's finally changed. Great. What are other black people going, oh yeah, fuck him. Took him long enough. And I'm like, but isn't that what we're fighting for? It's taken this long. It's taken long enough. But don't we want that change? So we can't be ostracizing people for finally seeing our way. Oh, because it took you too long.
But it took too long.
It did take too long, but at the same time, are we going to be upset about the fact that it took too long? Like, are we going to now look at the fact that, okay, it took too long? Yes, of course, we all knew it took too long. Yeah. But let's look at the positive. It's actually what we wanted is now happening. Isn't that what we should be focusing on? Yeah. Instead of, kicking a guy down when he's down. Like, you don't kick a horse when it's down, right? Do you? No. Like, that's how I look at it as well.
And I think now, especially now, I think it's not possible to have, I think they will ban, hopefully, like from the government.
I think they should.
I think they should ban it.
My dad said they won't because it's political.
The end of that discussion. Like,
I feel like it should. It's not a thing.
More,
but then they're scared of what their supporters will then do. They'll lose supporters. Isn't there an election coming up soon?
I think it's a small group. I think now in this era, I think that the public opinion is very much
shifted now
changing.
Again. Yeah.
And I mean, thank God. I mean, I've grown up with Zwarte Piet as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had the discussion,
and I never looked at it that way. And the first time that this discussion was there, I also was like, but that's something I grew up with. And then you start hearing stories, and then you start looking into the history of this all, and then you're like, yeah, of course, this cannot happen. And
the worst thing was he wasn't even black to begin with.
We asked our children.
Yeah, what they thought. I remember you telling me this. Yeah,
and we were like, that Black Pete was always black.
Yeah,
but do you have a problem with him being not black or blue or yellow or white or
the presence.
Whatever? And they were like, no, we don't care.
It's about the presence at the end of the day.
The people who do care
are the parents.
It's the parents. Yeah. It's the grown-ups. They
want to keep their
tradition.
And the traditions change over. I mean, how many traditions have we had over the centuries that have changed? I mean, we used to wear, have to go to courts, into the royal courts, and wear your stupid wigs and stuff. Men would have hair wigs, women would have wigs.
Yeah,
and that was tradition, right? Now we don't do that anymore. Like, there's so many things that used to become tradition that aren't tradition anymore. Holland used to not celebrate Christmas as much. Like in when I first moved here, Christmas was not a thing. Like 25th of December you didn't get much. It was there, but now you're actually getting shops promoting this, Christmas and, get you things, this. It was also used to be Sinterklaas was your holiday. Yeah. That was the tradition here. That tradition's moved on slightly.
Moving, and
if it's hurting people, why would you want to keep it?
That's the whole thing. Like, why should you keep a tradition?
That's hurting people.
If there's so many people who are hurting by this tradition, I mean, why should you keep it?
Yeah,
I mean, just get rid of it. I mean,
we all live together, right? Like, I have to deal with things as well that as I can't even think of an example of things that I have to deal with that I don't. There's loads of things that I don't like, but we as a community, we need to live as harmoniously as possible. Because if we can't do that anymore, what's the fucking point? Like, what's the point in? You have to love thy enemy, right? They say, love thy neighbor, love thy enemy. Isn't that what the Bible always preaches? And a lot of these people that don't like Zwarte Piet are very Christian as well, which I think is the most crazy thing ever. Like, you love God, you preach.
I mean, the people who are very much pro
they love
Black Piet.
Yeah.
It's like there's a big group of racists.
Yeah. That's what they are.
They use this opportunity to
speak about racism. Yeah.
It's a group of parents who cannot let go of traditions, but the whole Sinterklaas is about children. And if you ask children, like, do you care? They don't care.
And that's what the grown-ups keep saying, but you're ruining my child's holiday. But your child doesn't care.
Even if they're not banning it this year and not banning it next year, I mean, it should be banned. But it will take some time. And
everything takes time. The sooner the better. Everything takes time.
Eventually, the children who are growing up now, who don't care,
they're going to make sure that it's not going to be, and not care anymore. Yeah. And they're going to make sure.
I mean, it will take too long to wait for them.
But
But that's like the whole point, right?
I think that's what all of us seem to forget in this time. That yes, there's this movement. Yes, there's a lot of change happening, but it's a mindset that for 400 years have been implemented.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's not going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change next month. It's not going to change next year. It's not going to change 2 years from now. It's going to take the little girls that I see, white girls that are saying on, Instagram that I hear talking about, if I don't get it, why don't you get it? And another girl discussing with her parents about how this is wrong and it's racist. This generation, the future, are going to be the ones when it's their time. That's when it's going to change because they have that mindset. The people, their parents or the people in power now, we're having to educate them now. Like these are things that they don't automatically feel and think. So
and the changes they make now, it's mostly based on public opinion, right?
And it's not based on what they really think and feel. Yeah. So you need to get that in order for it to actually be effective. Because you've also got, I keep thinking as well, like we protested about shootings in America in 2005, 2006, 2015.
It happens it happens all the time. But
my whole thing is, my thing is with this whole protest about Black Lives Matter, because when it first started, Black Lives Matter, when it started, all of that, my thing is what's changed now? Like what's different? These protests that we're doing now, what is different to the protests we did a couple of years ago? What is actually the difference? Because I hope that people keep the same energy that they have right now, and the anger and the this is unacceptable and like not the Black community, because it's not up to us to change it. Like I can't change fuck. No. Like at the end of the day, you have more power to change it. You have to change the system because again, how we say that there's when people talk about reverse racism, that's bullshit as well. Because racism you can only be racist if you're in the power to change and affect someone's life. Yep. Black people have no fucking power everywhere. That's the
whole problem.
That's the problem. So if you want us to give you reverse racism, give us some power, then we can talk about reverse racism. Exactly. Then I can say, okay, we got this, but we don't have that. And until that.
Exactly. But it's so rooted into all the systems.
It is.
I mean, I totally honest, I wasn't aware of that as well until like a year ago, and especially now, like weeks ago, I'm just reading about it and like noticing that shit is wrong, like from the root. It's like shit is really
the foundation is fucked up.
Yeah, the foundation is really fucked up.
Did you know that
and that's something needs changing, but that's something that is very hard
to change because it's a foundation. How do you fucking change your foundation? You have to break shit down. No one wants to break down shit.
The things that are happening now, and especially also in the States, like we talked about Minneapolis. I believe that a few days ago or yesterday,
the police have been defunded.
That the police will be defunded, and that there will be more community-led projects. And I mean, that's wonderful, and that's really great that happens. But it's just this. It's like a small part, and it needs a lot of small parts to become a bigger part.
That's exactly it. It takes time. Unfortunately, it takes time. Like if you had, I can't remember his name, there's some dude, some old fart English dude that was part of like the House of Parliament back in the days, like when they first went to Africa. And if you hear his description was the most amazing, most beautiful place I've ever been in my life, right? Amazing description of Africa, as Africa is. And then he said, so we need to change the image of themselves in order to control them.
Yeah.
And that's literally what has been continuously been done over and over and over and over and again.
Yeah.
And I have to relearn how I think. I have sometimes when someone will be looking at me. I remember one time I was with my ex-boyfriend who happened to be Dutch as well. We were in Maastricht. And I know Maastricht is you're not used to having a lot of Black people around. So I was studying there. So I'm already knowing that, people are going to be looking at me more often because, they don't have a lot of Black people there, unfortunately. Okay, cool. One day we're at a restaurant, having a drink, and this elderly couple, which again, in my head, I'm used to older generations being more racist, right? Because of the era, I get it. Elderly couple sitting close to us and they keep looking at us. And then the man said something, the woman looked at me too. So my boyfriend's getting annoyed because he's thinking they're being, racial profiling us. And I was like, nah, just let it go, because I'm used to it. He started becoming aware of it because he started dating a Black girl. So that things, like you said, things came to his attention more. I'm used to this shit. So I'm like, nah, if I would have to get angry every time someone looks at me wrong, dude, I'd have no energy left. Like, I can't do this all the time. Turns out, I even thought he was looking at me that. And I have that more often where then I walked to the bathroom and he was walking back from the bathroom. And then he stopped me and said, sorry, excuse me. So I was like looking really like apprehensive, like, what are you going to say? And he goes, I was just talking to my wife. You're so beautiful. And I was taken back. And it's fucked up because the amount of times I've had in my life that I thought,
that it was the other way around.
Yeah, or someone won't be attracted to me because of the color of my skin. I'm so many times, which is crazy, that I've been pleasantly surprised that I've been given a compliment. Not because of my skin color. Oh, you're pretty for black girl. No, but you're just a beautiful girl. Wow, you're so beautiful. Just purely that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think you would think black is attractive.
It's like a striking example of why it's so terrible that you have this example.
And that I even think like that. I'm you won't be attracted to me.
Shocked that somebody is like,
they're attracted to me? Really? Oh, wow, you think I'm pretty? Like, that's, again, that image. It's crazy. You have that as well with this YouTube. Okay, after this story, we need to stop this subject because we're going on forever. And we need to talk more about our photography and stuff. But you have this video on Instagram as well, or, that they did where they filmed, I think also from different generations. So from in the 60s up until now, had a group of children, white doll, black doll, or pictures of like 4 different, and now like from in 2019, they had 4 different shades, like from light to dark. And then they asked the little children, 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, which one's good? Which one's a good doll? Which one's a bad doll? Good doll's the white doll, bad doll's the black girl. Which one's the ugly doll? Which one's a pretty girl? White, black, it doesn't matter what color child is sitting in front of the dolls or in front of the images, they all say the same thing. Black is bad, ugly, naughty. White is good. That's where it starts. Like, if that's even
it's even like going back even more. I mean, heaven is light, it's white.
Oh, white.
And
anything black is dark. Everything black is like, black money. Everything negative is black. Yeah. Everything amazing is white. I mean, Muhammad Ali, remember him in an interview, he was smart because he obviously wasn't very political, really, but yet he was without people realizing he was trying to be it. He was, white people, I'm so entertained. This black Negro is entertaining us. Nah, man, he was trying to bloody well school you. And he said one time, Mommy, because I was a curious child. I was such a curious child growing up. I was always curious, always asking questions. And one day I asked my mom, how come there's no black angels? So then my mom said, they're the ones taking the pictures. And he laughed it off, joked it off. And the audience laughing. But yeah, it's again, already that you already from a young age, we told that all the images we see of heaven
are all white.
And who was Judas again? And what was his color, Judas, in Jesus Christ Superstar, the movie, the musical? He was a black man.
Yeah, it happens over and over and over again.
It's crazy.
And that's something we
are going to change.
Right?
We are changing it. We're even going to go to the protest later, aren't we?
I wanted to have this conversation with you also. We did before and we did
in between. We've always done. We've had conversations.
But now I've found it very relevant. I have a platform and it's not about look at me speaking up. No. It's about
educating each other.
Speaking up, try to convince other people, do the same, Talk to your friends, talk to your parents,
find out what your
family, talk to everybody around you, like, what's your opinion? And if somebody else has a different opinion, I mean, I've witnessed it a week ago. I've talked to somebody and he has a different opinion. And I can do 2 things, like, see ya. Like,
or try and educate them. Yeah.
Here are some links.
Or ask him why he feels that way.
Please read them and then have the conversation again. Hopefully something happens. But
also, I'm also curious. Like, I think like also it's important to find out the same as like when people are saying, Trump won. And I'm like, yeah, but the people voted for him. Right. So there's obviously, so why don't we ask, instead of saying, fuck this, why don't we ask those people why they voted for Trump?
Yeah.
Like, understand as well. It's also important for the other side to understand the
why
side.
Did you dig your own
side you're trying, the side you're trying to bring to your side in order to understand why they think that way. We need to understand why. In order to change the way they think, we need to understand why they think that way.
Yeah, because I think
because you can give someone
that's something I don't know, but
I can't understand why you think that way, honestly.
I mean, the reason I think a lot of people voted for Trump was for like short-term profit, like a short-term solution to problems they thought they had.
Or the whole America's racist.
And then,
Sorry.
yeah, of course,
Hey,
but it's like a lot of people, I think, also have chosen for Trump because they thought like economy-wise.
Yeah, they thought he's a businessman, financial, all of that.
We need to get out of this valley. You know, we need to have more jobs and America first, and you know, and then shit hits the fan now. Corona, Black Lives Matter,
and look at how he responds.
Look how he's not a leader. He's a terrible person.
You had people protesting, I think, just before the Black Lives Matter protest about not wearing masks, why they shouldn't be wearing masks. And those protesters were nicely escorted, no tear gas, nothing. Yeah. And then that is, to me, more health risk if you like believe in this whole Corona thing.
You had these militia guys with guns.
Standing with guns and nothing happened to them. But you got black people in the streets. Shit is like because people
send out the squad. Yeah.
Honestly, Buzz. Honestly, there's one thing that is very apparent throughout history, and is very thing. White man is scared of black man because white man knows when black man. If we would organize, if we would change. Again, they created this image to make sure that we don't see ourselves as anything other than down there, right? So we would be able to do that. It would be a scary thing. There's more black people on this planet than there are white people. Of course you'd be scared. Like if we would get together and arm and say, nah, enough of this, we done. This is why the Kwasi's speech at the protest was taken at the damn square was taken. First of all, way out of proportion because he was obviously speaking hypothetically saying
and from emotion.
From emotion, he kicks other people. And it is an emotional thing. I don't know if you understand, you as a human being feel the pain to see someone die on a video, right? You feel that pain. You can't not tell me any person that watched that video, and it took me a few days to watch it because I didn't want to watch it because I knew. And also, not only because I knew, it was also another one. So I've become numb to it as well. But at the same time, any person that watches it gets the pain. But when it's weird to say, but it's so hard watching one of your people get killed because because of his color. Yeah. And knowing you live in a world where I have to act right or act a certain way and being taught from a young age from your parents. And I'm not talking just about in the States. That's the crazy thing. People keep focusing on the States. Yes, it's bad there. It's even worse because people are getting killed, literally shot point blank. But every single black parent in the world has taught their children how to act around white people. And that's fucking fucked up. Yep. That's crazy. And that's something we need to change as well, because I shouldn't have to teach my daughter or my son, if I have, how to deal with a white person. No. You should just be you. As long as you follow the laws, there should be
exactly.
No. But yeah, go back to photography.
Yeah, just like I said, I just wanted to
thank you for
include this in the conversation as well, because I think it's very relevant.
And it makes me angry and so I'm emotional about it. I'm tired of it, but I'm happy.
After the podcast is finished, we are going to do
no justice, no peace. No justice, Amsterdam. No peace.
And hopefully we can get close if to it's not close, like freaking busy there.
It was. I mean, last time it was fucking busy. Like
I hope it's busy.
Me too, but you want to get close enough.
You want to get like
But even when you're not in there, because I remember I arrived late and I came just to the outskirts and I just started, I'm even getting goosebumps. I got goosebumps standing there. And then I ran into my old colleague from Mad Fox. Her name is Christina. She's Russian. Yes, Russian. And obviously back at Mad Fox, we call each other sisters. We always had a bond, and then, she doesn't see color. But before I said it, I ran into her. She goes, I didn't know this was going on. I was on my way and I saw this and I had to stop and like be part of it. And she goes, wow, this is fucking powerful. Like it was a powerful feat. As much as I thought, what the fuck am I doing? It's not really going to change anything. But at the same time, I'm like, but this is, after days of not being on my Instagram or trying not to go on Instagram, then going on Instagram and then being stuck watching thousands of videos after, like, and been traumatized by what I'm seeing, and then deciding, okay, for like the whole day, I'm not going to look at my Instagram. Being there and standing there was just like felt good.
Good.
Yeah, man. So we're going to feel that goodness again today.
Hopefully. So what are your plans? What are your goals?
For Corona or like before in general?
Future, what do you want to do? Because you told me you have a job now outside of modeling.
Yeah, that's only because Tino needed to make some money to pay the bills and move out.
What are you doing?
Do we really have to talk about that?
No, okay. If you don't want to.
No, we don't want to talk about it. It's okay.
You're doing something.
I'm working in an office. Like, it's so out of my... Do you love the fact that my company is very much mixed and my managers are mostly not Dutch, which actually is so refreshing. So I think it's one of the first times I've worked in a company and I'm not afraid to be black or truly be myself without...
That's a good thing.
Without those lessons. And especially in this climate and environment, it's amazing. So I'm very happy and fortunate to have a job.
In Amsterdam, you're working?
In Zaandam, actually. Zaandam. Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to have a job. I'm very happy, but we're not going to get into it.
And it's like 40 hours? Or?
No, it's what is it, 30? Between 20 and 30.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can choose
So you have some
I have a lot of flexibility. So every week I have to tell them. I do. I can tell them when I...
Thank
I know,
God,
right?
I was like... This is not going to be the last book, right?
No. But the thing is, I always, you know what it is, no matter how it goes, I always have, me, when, because I'm a freelance model, so I have to rely on me finding jobs and people finding me. So when there's a few months of no jobs, I always go find another job, but that always has to be a job that's flexible so that when I can shoot, because I can't not shoot. But my plan was I'm moving now, end of the month, but my plan was to actually focus more on outside of Holland to try and get more work.
For photo shoots.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I necessarily want to get an agency because I do love the freedom of being a freelance model. But at the same time, I don't love the freedom.
Do get
me more work. But then again, will they get me more? Like, so it's also like, will you get me more work than I'm getting myself? And if so, what level of work are you going to get me? Because if it's going to be the same level that I'm getting myself now, then I might as well just keep money to myself and do it myself.
You should do some checking. Maybe you can find the country where height isn't a problem.
Asia is where I was actually... I mean, for years now, people have been telling me Asia. And for years now, it's something I've been thinking about. I also want to get into acting. So I'm thinking that's what... So what I was going to do when you had your exhibition was then go from New York, go to LA and visit a few people that I know. I've got some contacts there. That I would love, was wanting to see what I could possibly do because they keep telling me, you need to come to LA, to LA. And so I've still got that in mind, but obviously I can't do anything until something happens in the world and the US says I can come into the country.
I don't think you can travel there.
I can't. No, they won't let me in. They have a 14-day, if you've been 14 days beforehand in Holland.
The same for me to London because my...
But no, London, they said you should be able to, you have to quarantine for 14 days in one place. So you can get in.
Yeah.
But then you have to quarantine for 14 days somewhere.
My exhibition opens on the 24th of June. So that's in 2 weeks.
So does that mean... Okay, but does that mean...
And I'm not going to be quarantined for 2 weeks to be on a opening that is not there because they cannot do an opening because there are too many people. So I told them maybe I will come in September because then hopefully it will be a little bit better.
But they're still doing the opening in June.
Yeah, but it's not really an opening.
They're doing the virtual.
No, they are actually putting my stuff there.
Why don't they just wait?
Well, they are putting my stuff there and so people can visit. But they're not doing an opening because there are too many people then. So
they're doing an opening once September, once things are more
I think they just open...
In September?
No,
just
June.
In June.
So they put up my work and then they open and they photograph the whole show and they film the whole show so they can send their clients online. But if people want to see, they can make an appointment and they can see the work.
I get you. So that there's still something going on, at least otherwise there's nothing going on.
So they have this opportunity to say, and it's my first solo exhibition.
It is. I'm going to send my friends over. I've got some friends in the UK. I'm gonna send them over because I'm in it too, right? Just to check.
No. We left you out.
Check. I always check. I'm always like, do you know what's so funny? I always ask you that question when I know the answer to that question because it's like you always put me, at least one picture is always in any of your exhibitions. So I don't know why I keep, but it's like, I don't want to be cocky and assume, but at the same time.
No, this time we left you out.
Okay.
I was like, no.
Fuck it. Fuck Tino. We're not doing that. We got a book. We're not doing too much.
That's enough for her.
Shit, man. This book is amazing. You guys, this book is so amazing.
Yeah, the book, now today it's the 10th of June, I believe.
Yes. You have to sign it for me, by the way, because you haven't signed it. Okay.
Today is the June 10th, and the book will come out next week.
Oh, wow. I need to start promoting this shit for you people. Buy my book.
It will be available throughout my website and the website of the publishing house. It's called 1605 Publishers. Little plug here. Plug. And there are only 150 copies.
You guys, next week, you better get to buying. When is this? Wait, are we this podcast, are we talking in future or are we talking past?
Well, I was just thinking about that. But I think I'm going to edit and post this podcast
before next week. Okay, so we're not talking
I would say like June 18th.
Okay.
The book will come out. So if you are listening to this.
You got 8 days to edit this and post it before the book comes. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
So if you're listening to this like in a year time, you're
too late. You're too late because the books will be sold out within the first week.
Well, hopefully.
No. They will be sold out within the first week. If you guys disappoint me, we have a problem. Yeah, angry black woman coming to get you. You know how y'all scared of angry black woman? Okay, no. Anyway. No, but Bas, I'm really grateful to have worked with you. Yeah. I keep looking around your stuff. It's so annoying.
We just continue shooting, of course, at least once a year.
We have to do a shoot just now quickly, like a quick portrait.
Yeah, I was just thinking because I always use like a portrait of the person I'm talking to in the podcast for like this cover art of the podcast.
But you got so many pictures of me that you don't necessarily need.
I don't have any pictures of you, so we need to do.
Oh, you got nothing, right? Like absolutely. I mean, like this book. I mean, what the fuck? What is this?
No, but we're gonna do portraits.
Yay. I can't come here, you guys, without doing.
I'm looking forward to as well, and we need to really plan this. Now we are saying this for like
the video.
The video.
I know.
We want to do something with video.
And I think now we can maybe use this as well. But I feel like we should do. What did we say?
Really
what did we say? We had something. Started saying something.
Yeah, I was thinking.
We were talking about isolation,
huh? Yeah, something like that.
But isolation works as well.
We need to think about it because if we do this, we need to do this like really good.
Because isolation also works as well as in with also the movement. Mm-hmm. You feel isolated.
Yeah.
I feel isolated being an African Zimbabwean in Holland as well. Mm-hmm. There's so many levels of isolation we could go to.
Yeah. So we need to figure out like, and this is something like video. It's something I'm doing more
often.
And that's something you cannot do spontaneously.
No, it has to be thought. It needs to be thought
about it. Yeah. And that's something, a new kind of process that I really
This is why it's taken us a year to just even come up with an idea.
Like,
we've been talking, no, even longer. I think we've been talking about this for 2 years now. We started talking about this ages ago, let's be honest. And then you came back to me last year again, like, come on, Tino, we really need to come up with this idea. And then we know what we want in our head. I can see it.
Yeah, me too.
But it
needs to
be worked out,
and it takes a lot of time to set up, and that's totally fine. Maybe some people are now watching it on YouTube, and they are saying like, "We have a lot of videos, so what's up? What's going on?" But it's a different approach. Video and photography, it's something totally different. And sometimes I approach a video in the same way I do a shoot.
Yeah, so it's like static.
Let's go. I have this beautiful set inside my studio, and let's do it, and we'll see what we'll film. Yeah. And most of the time, it's like with music, and I'm actually going to record like a music video clip.
You were saying,
well.
Yeah. What the fuck? What is this?
I cannot talk about this too much, I think, but there will be something coming.
Is it an artist that I know? Is it a Dutch artist?
Yeah, you know.
I think it's your friend, right?
Yeah,
I have a feeling. I thought so. Cool, awesome. Well, if he decides that he needs a black model in his video, let him know that I'm available. Hey.
We're actually gonna work with some dancers, and it's gonna be and very conceptual, and it's gonna be great. So it's something I'm exploring.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to do this because I mean, I started exploring photography with you.
Yeah,
so
you
now
cannot
we
have a
need
video.
to start exploring video as
and
well.
we did our 3D video. So then that was cool.
we didn't talk about
We didn't talk about that.
Well, really quick.
How did that happen?
Well, because
I just got a message from you.
There was a museum show, and it was the collection of Roy Kaman, the owner of the gallery in Amsterdam. And he had
Roy, we forgot to mention you, Roy. We love you, Roy.
and he was having this show with his collection.
Yeah.
He has an amazing collection of work.
His collection has amazing work in it. Expensive work
and then
as well.
the museum, they reached out and they knew I was doing video as well. So we made a video for the museum and it was playing there. And then they reached out again and they said, like, we want to work with virtual reality. So that meant like having these goggles on and being inside the different world, you know. And and in the beginning, I was like, I don't feel you, you know. It's like
it's not my thing.
No, I felt it was more of a gimmick.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not my thing. How can I translate my work into something
3D?
Virtual?
Yeah.
And it's like, never mind.
It'll take away the magic of my images.
They said, like, you need to come over, and there's a company in Amsterdam who's doing this great work with only virtual reality, and you need to check them out, and you need to talk to them about this and
how you want it to be done. Then,
and so I went over, and then they totally convinced me about the goggles because I put on the goggles and I watched some documentaries and some other stuff they were making. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
and then I was thinking, like, how can I translate this? And I couldn't find a solution to translate my work into virtual reality.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Let me combine that.
So we put on this crazy expensive
camera. It had how many, like 300 and something. Well, how many camera heads did it have? It looked...
Well, it had cameras all over, and the thing cost like 80,000 euros or something. It's crazy.
Insane.
And then it wirelessly transmits like all the data from the video to a cameraman who was not in the same room because otherwise he would be in the video.
I remember that.
He was sitting in a different room, and then we filmed like doing the nude shoot with you, and people who are having these goggles on, they are actually right inside the shoot.
Sometimes they're you. Most of the time they're you from your perspective, but then they would also see us.
Me.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that so the goggles were in front of my work in the museum, so people could sit down, put on the goggles, and then all of a sudden they were in my
studio. Yeah.
And it was so funny to see the reactions because you were standing there naked. I mean, well,
trying to cover up as much. Yeah.
But then you see people like wearing the goggles and
not knowing where to look,
looking to the side and then quickly looking back. Like,
oh, she's naked.
So that was so funny. And then on the opening
part. The picture part is also crazy.
In the end of the movie, then I'm taking a picture with a Polaroid camera.
Yeah, of me.
So then and it was close to the camera. So what happens? I take a picture. I look first, and then I take a picture, and then the Polaroid comes out. But because it's like 3D,
you think it's coming at you. Yeah, you're gonna grab it. It's amazing.
And then on the opening night, I was there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people sat down and put on the goggles. And then they saw me in the movie and they are looking around and they are reacting to the movie. And then in the end they removed the goggles. And then I was standing there in front of them.
Right there. Oh, that must have been so cool. That must have been so scary. Because I didn't see that part because obviously I arrived late to the opening. I always arrive late. But I always show. Okay. I always try to go to all of your exhibitions. That's like one of my things. I always, even if I'm not in, even if I don't know if I'm in it, I'll come and support you if I'm around. Last time, what was the last time? I went from one show.
Rotterdam.
I went from one show and I was dashing to another show. Like I was like, I can only be here for 10 minutes, but hey, let's do a drink.
Last time in Rotterdam, you were with your mother and with your father.
That was the second day, but the opening,
the
opening, I came for the opening.
Yeah.
And then I had to I think I had a concert or something that I was going to. I can't remember. But yeah, I made sure it was.
So that was the virtual reality experience.
That was fun.
That was really fun.
That was really fun.
I mean, but we are exploring like different
mediums and also going like futuristic vibes. I don't think anyone has really used virtual reality for showing how to do a shoot.
That's why I'm thankful to Museum Hilversum.
Yeah.
Like they really insisted on me doing it.
Yeah.
And I was really hesitant, and they convinced me. And now I have something that is
out of this world, basically.
Yeah.
And then
really
the fact that you asked me as well, I got to elevate, elevate myself as well in my portfolio. Like, oh, look, we've done this, something that isn't there, something that people are still trying to figure out how it's done.
Yeah.
We've done that, man.
Yeah. And it made me think like, we did this once, and I'm not doing it again.
No.
But I want to explore what's possible in 3D virtual reality with my work, you know?
Yeah.
That's something
and
new.
especially now
even,
with this time, Corona time, that it might become
like
more.
Think of a way to walk through an exhibition with goggles on, or being more abstract and having a person
actually move
through a room and having this
the model's
art
actually
show.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
What about having actually, like, instead of, let's not talk about this on the podcast.
No,
giving people ideas.
Too much ideas.
Giving people ideas.
Yeah,
like, I'll talk about you. I'll talk about it afterwards.
Right.
I'll keep it in my head for you. Like, otherwise, we're giving shit away because we don't know how quickly we can come up with these. Exactly. How quickly the podcast is going to be out, and how quickly you're going to come up with do this idea. So let's not. Sorry, people.
And I think we talked about a lot.
I think we did.
Yeah, and I think we need to stop now.
I think so too. I think you should just invite me for like in a like next 6 months. Yeah, next season.
Because that's the funny thing as well.
Yeah.
When I was starting the podcast, I listened to a couple of podcasts, and they are using this system of seasons and episodes.
Okay, so like
it's
next season
1, episode.
Oh yeah, 8. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to do that as well. I'm doing a podcast, so I need to do a season. You might as well be
professional shit with it. Come on.
And now I'm doing this for more than a year, and just the episodes just go up.
There's nobody seasons anymore, just season.
And it's still season 1. So I was thinking like, maybe this is a good part
to stop it now, because then you've done. Because since you didn't start with your muse, and
I just end with the best.
You end with the best.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how we're doing it.
So it's officially.
It's officially the
last.
I
just thought of it now, but now it's official.
The last.
This was the
1.
last of the season 1.
Yay! Awesome.
And probably we are going to continue season 2 like in a month or so.
Yeah. No one care. I mean, it's Corona times now. The whole world's just gone ballistic, so we might as well just do our own thing.
Exactly.
Right?
So
who cares? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Of course.
And now we can shoot, because I don't come here without shooting.
Yeah. So we're gonna take some pictures.
Yeah.
And
just a
then,
quick portrait.
We're gonna head out. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, really. And also thank you for giving me a platform, not only to talk about my work with you, but also to talk about, Black issues and racism and thank you, man.
And if people are listening and they liked this conversation, please share it.
Yeah, please share it. And then tell Bus to have me in every season if you liked it, so to make sure that I come back.
just comment down below somewhere if it's possible.
I'll pay you as well to comment nicely.
Okay, that's something you need
actually
to
pay
figure
you.
out.
I won't actually pay you. I won't actually pay you. I'm lying. Yeah. That was a lie. Don't hold me to it, people.
I mean, share it, like it, do everything you need to do.
And have discussions with people, with everyone. Ask your Black friend how they're doing, because I promise you we are not doing well. Black friends, talk to your white friends. Everyone, let's talk, let's discuss this, and let's fucking make this world a better place.
Exactly. And that's absolutely true.
Right.
One last thing.
And create. Everyone, you should be creative. Create. Start now. If you've never done anything, be creative. Just do it. Just do it. Just look at this podcast. He just decided one day, hey, I'm going to do this. And look at us. We're sitting here with a professional, 2 mics, all of this shit.
And English as well.
Oh, yes. We moved to
totally
English.
You forgot
we're doing it in English. How could you forget?
I don't know.
You're so natural.
I don't know.
Comes naturally.
But, that's something I started with. This one was in English. Maybe next one will be in Dutch again.
Or Spanish.
It all depends on
the guest. Do you speak
Spanish? No.
No hablo. I can't even ask you.
I actually was doing Spanish course before the Corona started. And then the Corona was there, and then the classes were canceled. So I had like 5 classes in Spanish. So but
she could have given you virtual classes.
Yeah, but I didn't want to talk to my laptop.
I thought so. I thought it was more you than it was her. Because I'm sure she gave you that option.
We had like this classroom full of people. And then all the people were like
talking at the same time.
Spanish? No. I'm not. No.
I wish I could have seen that. That would have been so. I could just see Bus looking at it.
Yeah.
Never mind. Let me go work.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you finish your homework and then you just
close
your laptop?
Close it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you so much.
Buy the book, you guys. 18th of June. It's out by Tino, the first edition of 1605 what are it called?
Yeah,
Publishing.
1605 publishers. And
publishers.
there will be more books coming. There will be more projects coming.
So stay tuned. Do we have an Instagram page yet for this?
Yep.
Follow 1605.
Yeah, it's live just a few days.
Yo,
so you can check it out. There's no post yet.
Doesn't matter. They need to follow that shit. And then next week when it drops, then they're there. And then they can find out where they can get more books. And when you do other stuff, all of that. And if you're not following Bastiaan Woudt, you better be following Bastiaan Woudt. And if you haven't already started following me, follow me too.
Of course. At Tinotenda Mushore. And if you happen to listen and think, I have this great project, you can send me an email. I cannot promise anything, but the more I see, the more I know. And
the more that you have chances of getting shit out there. And please, people, be creative. Be creative, please. I don't know why I feel that it's important, but I feel like it's important that I say that. I feel like I should
stop now. We stop.
I feel like I should end it. Bye.